All right, and you can, our agenda today, we'll just go over update on governing documents, talk about what's coming up the rest of the month, anniversary stuff, 25th anniversary virtual volunteer fair coming up, TMN Tuesdays, and the annual meeting. So lots of things going on this month and lots coming up also. Just a update on governing documents. So we've had more movement in our chapters, completely adopting the bylaws and chapter operating handbooks. 37 of our chapters are complete with the bylaws. In that process, 4 of our chapters have updates in process. And then there's 7 chapters that we have not heard anything from yet. So if you're a chapter on the right-hand side of this list or this slide, we have not heard from you. If you do not have like confirmed, completed, or in process, or any notes next to your name, we have not heard from you for bylaws, chapter operating handbooks, or anything. So if you could reach out, we did email your chapter presidents, those chapter presidents late last week, asking for a status update. And so the chapters that have nothing next to their name are chapters that we have not heard from yet. So if you could reach out and let us know, or reply back and let us know where you're at in the process. And then we have another 26, or however you look at it, 17 chapters based on the information up above that we haven't heard yet on your chapter operating handbooks. So if your chapter is working on, still continuing to work on the chapter operating handbook, or updates to that this year, please let us know. And I see some, oh, I see Beverly mentioned that Blue Stem submitted their COH yesterday. I did see that. Thank you, Beverly. And then anyone else, if you would just text chat us or send us an email. Again, the governing documents, everything's on our website. The process is all on our website. All of the documents are up to date there on the Master Naturalist website. So April has been a busy month. We've kicked off the month with being International Volunteer Month, the whole month of April. And after that, we had National Volunteer Recognition Week, which was the week of April 16th through the 22nd. Just this past Saturday was Earth Day. And coming up this week and into the weekend is our City Nature Challenge. So I know many of our chapters are supporting City Nature Challenge events taking place in their local communities. And then master naturalists from all around the state, if you have an if you're already involved with iNaturalist, we have that identification period coming up with the City Nature Challenge May 2nd through the 7th. So if we could really use your help in contributing to that identification period and helping to verify species and specimens that are uploaded to iNaturalist through the City Nature Challenge. We've been talking to you the past couple of months that April has a busy month, and that it's a big recognition month for the Texas Master Naturalist Program. And some of you mentioned that you were doing big celebrations, Earth Day events, chapter events, and like chapter recognition events and potlucks and things like that. So over the past month, are there any chapters online that have added anything to their chapter events in April to kind of celebrate this National Volunteer Month and International Volunteer Recognition Week?
I heard a cute one while folks are typing. The chapter advisor from the Goodwater chapter said that she brought snacks to the chapter while they were in the middle of a service project. And on the bag of chips, it was a little sticker that said, "You're all that and a bag of chips." So I guess while they were out working on a project, they got fed some snacks and a little recognition. I thought that was clever.
Awesome. Oops.
Terry says that they had a hot dog cookout for their volunteers. What a fun and easy way to celebrate.
So part of our recognition for the program and a thank you to our volunteers and you as chapter leaders in last week during National Volunteer Recognition Week is we made public during the month of April our Master Naturalist Program annual report. And so what's on the screen now is the document that all of our active Master Naturalists have received through VMS. And so if their profile was updated and they've been an active member, everyone received our thank you letter and this report through VMS. And then also we shared it through the listserv. It's on our website. And then we shared it again on Monday during our National Volunteer Week last week to all of our chapter leaders. And we hope that as a chapter leader, you can share these accomplishments with your chapter membership and all of our chapters throughout the state. A couple of things I want to highlight from the annual report is that right here at the top, this is the first time our chapter has ever our program has ever in its whole 25-year history has ever crossed the 500,000 mark of volunteer service hours. And the other thing I want to point out about this this number this year is this is our highest year of service hours since 2016. So congratulations to you and your members in making this happen. I feel like we've really bounced back after the COVID years. We didn't dip too bad during the COVID years, maybe 20%, maybe 30%, depending on the time period. But to come back like this with like nearly a 30% gain in service hours is just amazing. So again, congratulations to everyone. The other things I want to point out is that we do have, as we've been talking about all year, is our 25th anniversary and a couple of different things that we're doing to celebrate that. So not to harp on everything that we're doing again, but all of that information can be found on the right-hand side of the presentation. And then there's a couple of things that we'll go over again today as we move on in the presentation. All right, Mary Pearl.
Yeah, sure. So she gave it away a little bit, but we've been talking about this for a few months now. I want to re-encourage you after a very busy April, where hopefully you've got lots of great pictures, lots of great stories, lots of great interactions with your volunteers over this last month. I want to re-encourage you to re-encourage your members to share your 25th anniversary story. It does not need to be a long multi-page story. It could be just hey, this just happened. We just had a hot dog cookout and here's who joined and here's what it was about and here's why this type of an event is important to us. So tell us a little story about a project, an opportunity, an interaction, an event that occurred so that we can help to promote and share those stories through our social media channels on a regular basis this year. So Kelly's been actively putting those out on, I believe, every Friday or Saturday or so, trying to tell a little bit about different interactions that happen on a local chapter basis or an individual Master Naturalist basis around the state. So I'll drop that link in the chat here again, but it is on our website, and you'll also find it all over our social media as well.
Want to cover the volunteer fair?
Sure can. So Michelle and I had our tech check with some of our project hosts for next week virtual volunteer fair. We had our tech check this morning. They're excited to be able to share these project opportunities with you. This is our 5th virtual volunteer fair since we started it in the middle of COVID, and something that you and your members have requested to continue. So the agenda is out now. You can register for either a single day or for both days. We have guides on all of the different projects. The catalog of resources, catalog of projects are all on there. So please check out the virtual volunteer fair. Help us to encourage your members to join. I sent a listserv email out about it yesterday. Got the dates wrong, but we fixed that. So thank you for the patience with the second email. But this will be a good one to check out some projects, some opportunities. There's even, Michelle, I'm going long here, but there's some cool projects that are local ecoregion specific and might not apply for your local chapter, but are some neat ideas that you can watch and think about how you could mimic those types of projects with a state park or resource center, nature center near you. So it may not be something that you want to volunteer with, but it might be a good idea generating opportunity. Yep, and there we've got the agenda of all of those different projects. We'll have 2 sets of days from 9 to 11:15 or so each morning. Rolling into our TMN Tuesday program, that'll be the following week, the second week of May 9th. As always, our TMN Tuesdays are that second Tuesday of the month and are being recorded. So Michelle, if you want to share drum roll for the May presentation, go ahead. Did we get that out of order? We did. Let me move that one real fast, and you should be able to go back now. There it is. Our May TMN Tuesday presenter is going to be Ben Horstman. He's with our Texas State Parks Division. He's going to talk about roving interpretation. If you have not seen Ben present, he is a phenomenal speaker. He comes to our annual meeting every year, I think. Since I've been around, he's been to every annual meeting. And he's a wonder of a speaker, and something that I would definitely encourage your members to attend. The next slide is a little bit of a sneak peek of our upcoming months, and I put this in here. We don't normally tell you about our upcoming TMN Tuesdays, but I've had some questions and I've seen some chapters posts about upcoming trainings that they're looking forward to. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a hint about some of our trainings that we have coming up with TMN Tuesdays. And I'm not giving you a whole lot of information here, but just a little bit. June is on plants. July, we've got a special guest speaker, set of speakers coming in to prepare our chapters, our program, our state network of volunteers for the upcoming eclipses that are occurring both in October and in April. So that'll be a really good one to be at, to learn a little bit more about what you can do as a volunteer as this natural event is occurring across the state of Texas. August, we've got a great speakers lined up for fish. September is birds, and then October is our project fair. So you can kind of see the progression of those topics.
Do you want me to go back to the other slide?
Yeah, would you go back to it, please? There it is. Sorry, this is out of order, y'all. We were adding this one last minute. This actually was added just this morning. We had an email come in from somebody asking about fall basic training class. So we're going to send out an email to all chapter presidents and new training class directors requesting fall training class information if it's available, so that we can post that on our website and have it available for us to be able to send out to those responses. So when we get an email or we get a social media request of, hey, do you know if this chapter is hosting a training, we have an easy drag and drop content that links back to your chapter to share with them.
And this used to be kind of season based, but we've kind of opened this. We've changed a little bit of the format of this now to where it can cover the whole year. So if your chapter has an application period coming up and training, go ahead and drop it there. Like if it's going to be the most current, put that information here now because it does cover more than just the a season at a time.
Mm-hmm. Again, sorry, they're out of order. Okay, so annual meeting. There's not a lot of major updates to this content since last month's meeting, but I just wanted to keep these on here just to let y'all know that we're still in the process of planning this year's annual meeting. So Michelle, if you want to go to the next one, we're following the timeline for the planning event. We have our call for proposals out now. Our ask of you as chapter presidents, as chapter advisors and leaders, is to help us build the best agenda possible for the annual meeting by sharing our call for proposals with great speakers that you've had at chapter meetings, great speakers that you've attended other workshops from, speakers that talk to subjects that you want to hear more about. The only way that our annual meeting is as successful as it is by the content of the speakers that we bring in to share those resources with y'all. So to help us, please help us share that call for proposals. I have another email that's going to go out to the listserv probably tomorrow, just kind of reiterating all the things annual meeting for you and for your members to share with. You'll also see that we're planning on launching the agenda in July. So some of the questions that I've been getting about the annual meeting is when and how much and how do I register. All of that happens along our timeline. We'll launch the agenda in July, have registration open in August. And then you can see the rest of it kind of follows through from there. Yep, so just saying this again, call for proposals. This is where we need your help to share with those speakers that you want to hear from or that you think other master naturalists want to hear from. That deadline of May 15th will be extended. I don't always extend it until the last minute because people do like deadlines. I like deadlines. So I want to encourage them to submit early. Okay, I saw a comment, Randy Bissell on geology. He's been a speaker before, and I think he's already submitted. If not, I've got him on my list. Randy's a great speaker on geology. Skeleton agenda, we shared this with you guys last time. It's the same as it was previously, just our kind of block days that we have planned for the conference, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then again, the note on that slide was to encourage your members to plan for a longer stay if they can, if they're able to. I was talking to somebody, and this year's annual meeting feels a little bit like a destination wedding. We're having a destination event this year. Lodging is open. Lodging is running. We did have a little bit of an issue with one of the hotels and their block rates, but they have updated that. They have modified, and so blocks are running and everything should be running smooth. Please let me know if it's not. Michelle, you want to talk about this one?
Yep. So we have the contests and awards, and this is more of a pre-announcement. Our information, just kind of start getting your information ready or talking about it within your chapter. We have our chapter advisor awards. All of these things are announced at the annual meeting, but the application and nomination period for these our and almost everything on this list is typically over the summer. So this is the warm up to getting your application ready from your chapter to nominate or submit. And so chapter advisor awards, you can nominate a single advisor from either agency or a team of advisors at your local chapter level to be recognized. There's the chapter project fair, which your chapter can submit a stellar project that you have going on or have started within the last couple years at your local chapter level. And if you think it's worthy of a state award, this typically happens, the project fair, what you do is you submit a short description of your project that you want to present and everything. Instead of doing kind of a science board display now, we've switched to this being all virtual, and that you would do a presentation as your project fair entry. And you'd be presenting in our September project fair or September TMN Tuesday, which is the project fair. October, sorry. And we'll have a team of judges who would hear your presentations, ask questions, kind of evaluate your chapter's project. And then there's prize money. There is a small project grants available to your chapter for typically it's the first top 3 places. And the money can be used towards enhancing the winning project or contributing to another project at your local chapter level. Likewise, if you know that your chapter is not going to submit a project fair proposal or entry, then we can always use judges from our local chapter levels. And we'd invite you to be involved as a project fair judge. But again, that does require that your chapter is not represented that year in the project fair. And then the other contest that we have going on is our video contest. And these are typically videos that your chapter has developed on maybe the Master Naturalist experience, the training experience, a project that you have going on in the field. It may be a 25th anniversary project or an anniversary event that you have going on, or a recruitment project or a recruitment video. So these videos, the idea is to keep them to 1 to 3 minutes, and they're used as promos for your chapter and what your chapter is doing. So these are typically used a lot in social media at your local chapter level, and then throughout our state program. All of the video contest entries are used in that manner. And the video contest also typically receives a project grant as a cash award towards a project for your chapter. So, and then there's the photo art and media contest. Do you want to cover the photo art and media contest?
Sure. And we actually do have a host chapter. The Rio Grande Valley and the South Texas border chapter are going to jointly manage the photo art and media contest this year, and so they'll be putting out the contest rules for that sometime this summer, and then we'll collect digital entries for those contests categories over the course of the month of September, and then those options will become available on our online platform to vote for awarding at the annual meeting. Yep, and we did add the caveat that those photos have to be taken in Texas in the calendar year.
So we probably should have moved this one up towards the 25th anniversary information. So another thing that we are working on, or would like to work on this year for the 25th anniversary, for those of you who may have been around during your 20th anniversary, we collected t-shirts from all of our chapters in the state program and made this 20th anniversary t-shirt quilt. And it was a silent auction item at our annual meeting that year, the year of our 20th anniversary. And it was probably the hottest item we had. So we're looking to do this again for the 25th anniversary. And so if you have shirts that your chapter has made or that you'd like to share as to be put into the next t-shirt quilt, please send them my way to my office. And we'll be also sending the information, the same kind of information out through our listserv. But please also share the information with your chapter too. So the shirts don't have to be in excellent condition for this. Just the part that has images on it should be in decent condition to incorporate into the quilt. And you can see some of our smaller logos there in that quilt. So places where we had a small chest logo in the upper left or right side of the chest on shirts, those were incorporated as well. All right, sponsorships.
There we go. It was taking just a second to change it over. So we'll be sending this out as well about the annual meeting, but this year's meeting, we will be asking for sponsorships again, not only from chapters, but also from program partners, organizations that support the Master Naturalist program or that we support with volunteers. And so I'll be sending this sponsorship request out, but then asking you as chapter leaders to help us to spread that word and that request for sponsorships to other organizations as well to help make this year's annual meeting successful. All the sponsorships that are received early are applied directly towards this year's annual meeting to be able to reduce the registration cost for our attendees, and then also provide additional resources at the annual meeting. Think more coffee, things like that in the conference hallways. So additional chapter resources, we have our state website. We leave this slide in here every single chapter president's meeting because it is that important. So please check our website before you ask the question that you think you have. I guarantee you it's answered on the state website somewhere.
There's a lot of information there.
There's a lot of information on there.
Oh. So.
Oh yeah, I left the bubble there as a note for myself to come back to. I can take the bubble off. So, Michelle, I think you can refresh that and it'll move out of the way. But we are having a WordPress training that's happening May 2nd. So that's next week. I don't have the updated link yet, which is what that little bubble was going to remind me to update. But I don't have it yet. So as soon as I get that link for the WordPress training, I'll send it out to all chapter presidents and webmasters. So that's just my note to myself that I need to get that out. So I apologize about that little glitch right there.
Sorry about that.
So that link is not the final link for next week's training. Again, that is going to get updated hopefully today. I was waiting for that link this morning.
Merchandise.
Terry asked, can the website training also cover the basics? Yeah, Terry, they're looking for feedback on that training content. Having these monthly trainings from AgriLife, again, is better than what we had over the last year, which was kind of a little bit more sporadic. So they're seeking feedback on what we would like to have the training on. So yeah, we're gonna put that. The training is on May 2nd. There was a lot of updates that was supposed to happen on that slide and they didn't happen this morning, so I really do apologize. Jeff, I promise to have that that final date and time, final link, all of that final information about next week's training in your email box by the end of the day today.
All right.
Merchandise.
Nice.
So we had a pop-up store. Thank you guys for everybody who participated, shared that, encouraged your members. I saw a lot of chapters kind of went in on joint orders because the shipping was a little expensive. It was hard for me to swallow. But that was all of that pop-up store shipping was done by our merchandiser, CC Creation. So I know it's expensive. It's just is the cost of doing business with them. We did close that Sunday. Items will be shipped out mid-May. I actually got a notice this morning that my order was ready. So I'm hoping that means that everybody's order is ready and they're getting ready to ship out soon. We will be hosting another pop-up shop sometime this summer with some annual meeting logo, some more 25th anniversary logo items as folks requested different stuff for that logo to be on. And then the AgriLife Learn store, we're in the process of restocking Columbia shirts as requested, and then we just completed the restock of lanyards because those were needed.
Dan asked if the recruitment brochure is the stock has been updated. I think we had plenty of those.
Thought we had those, yeah. Dan, I'll look at those and make sure that we have those. And thank you notes and all of that stuff. So AgriLife Learn, you have to look for what you want. It's not a great available site for keeping all of our Master Naturalist stuff together. Recruitment brochures are out of stock right now. And then thank you cards. We have 97 packs of 25. So there's the thank you cards. So yeah, so send me your questions about inventory. I've said this before. I am not a merchandiser. This is not my specialty. So suggestions like what Sherry put in the chat about more ladies shirts would be great. Please share those with me so that we can make sure that we add those types of things to our order requests with CC Creations.
And then the printed items that are there, we'll get those restocked and reprinted. License plate, you want to cover that one too?
License plate, same thing. It's that important. That's why we talk about it every single month. So put your license plate on your car. Get your Master Naturalist logo brand on your vehicle as you're driving around town. It's always fun to kind of play punch buggy with those Master Naturalist license plates out there. And we've heard some great stories of folks running into people at outside of restaurants or shopping centers and seeing the Master Naturalist license plate. I saw one at HEB, this was months ago, and said, I told my kids, they're like, "Oh, Mom, you're so gross." I was like, "Look, it's a Master Naturalist." Anyways.
So, Craig, answering your question in the chat, the updated certificates for new trainees or newly certified, those are ordered. I received the print cost approval for those and approved that probably a week or 2 weeks ago. So we should be receiving them anytime. And endowment.
Endowment, same thing, also very important, as why we talk about it every month. But our endowment is still there, and it's still growing. It's a snowball that's moving downhill very slowly still, but we do encourage you to help us to continue to think about the endowment in your chapter functions. As you have members who have moved on from the Master Naturalist program or moved on from your area, ways to keep their memory and their spirit in the Master Naturalist program alive with this endowment.
And then also remember employer gift matching, the retirement disbursements, and then estate planning are options and ways to give as well.
Just let us know if you have any questions and we can connect you with the Director of Development.
Okay, just a couple of reminders. Um, we've been telling you about these things the last few months too. Um, so we ask that you not sign any MOAs, MOUs, so MOAs, Memorandum of Agreements, Memorandum of Understandings, or contracts at your chapter level without review and approval from the Master Naturalist State Program Office. Keep letting us know about awards and grants that you win, your chapter wins, your members or your chapter. These are things we want to help share and with the program and other members, other chapters. These are successes in themselves too. So we want to help share that story. And then lastly, what questions? We have just a few minutes left for any question Q&A of other chapter presidents if you want to consult with other chapters or get feedback on some things and ways chapters are maybe tackling some issues.
This is Dan Porter from the Panhandle chapter. I have a question about the AgriLife Plant Party webinars that they have out there from AgriLife.
Yes, sir.
One of my members asked if we could use those, if they watch those after, could they use that for advanced training, or is it only TMN Tuesdays?
So we changed the policy for recorded webinars with this new program documents update, and I will pull the CMOP up on the screen so that we can read that together. But how we encourage you to manage recorded webinars at this point is to review them as a chapter and determine if they are of caliber enough to allow for watching pre-recorded sessions. So
You want to share that? Did you pull it up?
Yep.
You want to share it?
Yeah, will you give me permission to, please?
Yep.
And so this is more than just the plant party. This is any of the webinars that your members are interested in. So this is in 5.6 in our CMOP. This is the use of mission-specific or related videos, DVDs, and archived webinars, archived and/or recorded webinars for AT should be limited in scope. Where possible, a qualified chapter member should be available to introduce the resource and lead a discussion following its conclusion. Before approval of these forms of media that would not have live interaction between participants and an instructor or a program facilitator, we encourage the chapter to consider the educational experience will supplement a chapter's approved AT program because those live instructors are not available on a particular subject germane to the ecoregion of the chapter. The quality and caliber of the particular media resource is of significant relevance to the TMN mission so as to be recognized by known experts in the field or organizations renowned for their dedication to education. So how I read that and how we intend for this to be used is your chapter member says, Dan, here's a webinar. It does not have live interaction, but I'd like to watch it as a recording. They send it to you, your VMS director, not your VMS director, your AT director. The AT director reviews it under these bullet points, considers that this will provide that additional supplementation, is of that quality and caliber, is not something that you have readily available in your chapter's area, and is approved for watching as AT, as a recording. Does that help?
Yes, so it's up to the VMS director and the executive board to determine if videos are quality.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. This is new for the program, so we're giving a little bit more authority in your chapter to review and approve these. But I'll keep that limited in scope. And the reason why we put limited in scope at the beginning of this section is we don't want to have volunteers only trained with recordings. We want them to have that quality in-person classroom-based interaction with their speakers. We've talked about this before. I think the biggest learning point in any sort of presentation for me personally is the parking lot conversations that happen after a presentation. After I walk into a room, I'm listening to a speaker in person, and then I walk outside and I talk to my fellow master naturalist about, hey, how did you understand that, or how did this work? Having those either those hands-on experiences or those interactive points with a speaker, with your fellow members as you're learning and engaging in that material. That is, I think, our priority in training, and then these are supplemental additional resources. Michelle, anything you want to add to that one?
No, you did great. You want to share the last slide?
Yeah, sure I can.
And then someone asked about the link to the annual report. It is on the website. And let me grab
I
it.
dropped it in earlier.
Okay, I'll grab it again and put it in.
Okay. Now that we've done this, I've lost all my chat. But the last slide that we have here is just our calendar check, things to keep on your radar for the month of May. Virtual Volunteer Fair is next week. We have the WordPress training. That day is wrong. It's the 2nd. TMN Tuesday is on the 9th, and then our May President's meeting is on May 30th. Any other questions, open discussion points that y'all want to talk about? Beverly Pritchard asked, the Be the Change videos can be if discussion is held. Yes, we encourage you to use the Be the Change videos that we did in 2021 and 2022, in the spring of 2022. Those fall within the same parameters that we talked about with recorded advanced training. We encourage them to be limited in scope, but they do meet the caliber and the quality of the program and the resources, and paired with a discussion group would just make those resources even better, and make your members have a better learning experience, open discussion period with those.
There's also a question in the chat about creating a chapter t-shirt. And so we have marketing and identity guidelines for use of the logo, and all of that is covered in there. The one caveat with the t-shirts is that we do, so the logo is trademarked and service mark, word marked. And so we do have to review and approve the design of any piece of art that's done outside of the program and outside of the vendors that we use. So the brand guide gives the information on how the logo should appear, the colors that should be used, and then we have to give permission to any other print shop or screen printer or embroiderer to use the logo, but we also need to review and approve a mock-up of whatever you would be looking to get completed with them too.
Mm-hmm. Beverly asked a great question. Is the WordPress training AT or does it count as service? The WordPress training counts as advanced training because you are getting trained on how to use that tool for the service of your chapter. These are great questions, y'all. Kathy says that she's looking for the 2023 recertification pin. I think Michelle's about to drop the link for the pins ordering. That's also on our website. I'll show you where it is. You go to 4 chapters, certification and service pins, and you'll find that form here for your 2023 pin, which is right there. So fill this form out. Terry, our trademark is both the logo and the name. So send us your artwork for the pins, and we can get those approved. That should be really easy. But in order to maintain our trademark, we do have to show that we are that we are actively monitoring and managing the use of our name and our logo. And so that's what you're doing. I know it's a little bit of a hassle to send us that stuff, but we could lose our trademark if we are not actively managing and maintaining our mark and our name.
Yeah, and to be clear on that, it's not only our logos that are trademarked and service marked, it's also the name of the program in print and in the way it's said. All of that is trademarked and service marked as well.
Yep. We've got a few more minutes for some more questions. Beverly, Austin, and if y'all don't have any more questions, you're free to jump off. But we'll stay here for a few more minutes and answer some of the questions as they come in. Beverly asked about having a pin made for Volunteer Month next year. That has a cost associated to it, Beverly. We have some better ways to celebrate our volunteers during National Volunteer Month that are more cost efficient. One of the things that we're hoping to do one day when time as a resource is more available is have chapter templates for celebrating your chapters for National Volunteer Month. So that's something on the list for next year.
Also keep in mind, next year, so we're in our 25th anniversary year now. Next year, our annual report will report out on what took place and what happened in our 25th anniversary year. So next year, we also hope to have a more robust and comprehensive 25th anniversary report that goes out.
Yep. Okay, otherwise we're going to hang out here for just a few more minutes, but y'all have a great week, great month, and we'll see you guys on the virtual volunteer fair next week. Oh, and we didn't say it, Michelle. Thank you guys for being volunteers during our volunteer month. Thank you for volunteering as leaders of your chapters, as advisors, as presidents, as step-ins for your leaders this month. Thank you. Michelle, did you stop the recording?
What's up?
Will you stop the recording?